Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning.
Morning, morning.
We are doing what?
We're off to do the ship's tour. So it's a 2.5 hour tour right around the ship, the bridge, the galleys, the laundry room, what do I say, dining rooms, everything that's sort of behind the scenes. So
Mm,
we've got our lanyards and our earpiece and our long pants, our closed-in shoes, and we're off to adventure around the ship. So
yep.
we'll let you know how it all goes and what we can film we will and what we can't, we can't.
So we pre-booked this before we got on the ship, um, paid in Australian dollars, and that allowed us a little bit of savings, a little bit of comfort in what we were actually spending. When we got on board on day one, the tickets for this were already all in our room, and we basically have just come down here this morning to do the tour.
Yep.
And the team here at the short tours desk are sorting all the group out, getting everyone signed in, all the waivers getting signed and double checked and triple checked.
Yep.
A couple of things to remember: long pants, closed-in shoes, and
No
no
handbags.
handbags. So if you're doing the behind-the-scenes tour on Quantum of the Seas or any of its sister ships, I assume the rules are all going to be the same. You need to remember those points. So, closed shoes, long pants, and no handbags at all. So, very limited in what they do. Obviously, we're going into engine rooms and things like that. So, it's all about health and safety. So, yeah, we come along with us, and we're going to go and have the tour.
All right, off we go.
So we are back from doing the all access ship tour. What
Say that fast.
all access ship tour? No, that doesn't work. That's risky. Um,
Yeah, that was fantastic. It
as,
was well worth every minute and every cent that we paid for that. So it
so
was 2.5 hour tour.
yeah, about a close, probably close to three maybe. In
Yeah,
the end, the whole thing. By the
yeah.
time we
So we got to visit the dining room, the galley, laundry, bridge,
we
theatre,
yeah, so we started in
dining room.
in the dining room, through to the galley, down to the stores, um, and then
And then on the
the
Highway 95, which is what they call it, which is the staff's corridor
yeah
down on level 1. That
level
was
one. Yeah, so we
yeah.
went in from the stores to the via the I-95 to
Oh yeah.
uh, the environmental waste management area where they separate all the rubbish. A really interesting process there. So we got
Yeah.
to learn all about how they manage waste, but also the waste recovery stream. So some of the waste that they incinerate, how they use the heat from the incineration to heat the water for the
Yeah.
showers.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, and manage air conditioning and all sorts of things like that. And then from there, we
To
went.
the engine room?
Was it the engine control room? Was after that, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
then
was fascinating. What a cool room, and obviously, we're going to show you some photos along the way of what we did take.
yeah,
No videos allowed, but we did take quite a number of videos, so you'll be seeing these as this strolls through.
yeah. So we got to go to the engine control room. Absolutely fascinating. The chief sort of engineer guy that was talking to us in that particular space, and that was one of the cool things. Each stop along the way had the relevant officer speaking to us, giving us advice, based on what they do in their area and the logistics. So the sort of supply officer was there, or provisions officer, I think it was called. So at the very beginning, and there, so engine room, and then
And then we went to the bridge.
to the bridge,
That
and
was very cool.
yeah,
Being up the front there. What a calm environment. It's kind of not what I expected at all. It was quite, obviously, it's one side of the ship to the other. They have all the blinds down because they've got to keep it cool up there for all the computers and equipment and stuff. But it was just this little desk in the middle with a couple of guys, and then was another little desk down the end. But there's just so much open space up there. It's kind of not what you envisage as a bridge. You'd expect there to be like a completely control right across the front, but it was just such a calm environment. Like it was on autopilot when we were up there. But yeah, just showing us all of that, and then got to see like where the captain's cabins are. They're literally straight off the bridge. Obviously, if anything happens, they can quickly dart into the bridge for that. But yeah, that was just a really, really peaceful, calm, quiet place. I was not quite expecting that.
Yeah, and obviously the two bridge wings. Really interesting. There was the clear floor.
Yeah.
So they've got a section of the floor, because the ship is so large, where there's actually a large glass panel, and they can stand on and see through for when they're coming into port.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting, fascinating thing, and they could see all the way down the ship, down the side of the ship. So from there we went on down to
The theatre.
Yeah, and
So
got a bit of a backstage
Yeah.
of that, which was really interesting. They were setting up for a show tonight. The cast were doing review of their previous shows, and also doing their briefings for their next show. So
yeah,
that was really cool.
yeah. So got to go and be stars for like 5 seconds. That was
Yeah.
pretty much all it was.
Being stars on stage, and then from there it was down to the laundry.
Down to the laundry, yeah.
Yeah, so seeing just how they go through things. So just in terms of stats, like this ship, Quantum of the Seas, 4,905. We're getting a bit of a rock on the ship now as we're starting to get closer back to the Australian coast. 4,905 guests at maximum occupancy. So huge numbers that this ship can cater for. So double occupancy, about 4,100. They give you a really, really cool information sheet with all the statistics as well.
Yeah.
But some of the things you learn outside of that were things like with the provisions. They're ordering their provisions for the ship 8+ months in advance.
What he's saying, they look at the demographics. So if they've got lots of 2-year-olds, they get lots of extra juice. And then I think he said, then if they have lots of 4 and 5-year-olds, they get lots of extra ice cream. And so they literally look, across the demographic of the ship. And as he said, if there's lots of adults, lots of more alcohol. So they do, predict, obviously, these cruises, quite far out to what the provisions are. And they get a lot of them from overseas.
Yeah, so
Miami.
So they were explaining all their ordering goes back to their head office in Miami, and they have they pre-locate around the world their dry provisions. So a lot of their things. So they do, for example, an 18-day cruise back and forward between a Trans-Pacific cruise, so Hawaii to Brisbane or Sydney and back again at the beginning and end of their Australian cruise seasons. And one of the things I was saying is they will pre-order their dry provisions. And when I say dry provisions, that's all your anything from your cereals to your tinned foods, tinned
Flour, sugars.
Flours, sugars. Their frozen fish or meats that they might be using, all those sort of things. And they'll have them, so on that 18-day cruise, in that shipping container has to be in Tahiti, waiting for the ship to arrive to be able to load on to the ship again when it gets there as the halfway point on that trip. So really, really fascinating, the logistical planning that goes into operating a ship of this size.
And boy, I tell you what, the Galley was fun. You cannot believe, like we arrived there just after sort of 9:30, I think it was. Obviously breakfast had literally probably only just finished. That kitchen was immaculate.
Yep.
Like it was shining. It was incredible.
And different stations were already getting ready for dinner service and lunch service. So and they're catering for the 4 main dining rooms, plus the Windjammer, which is the big sort of buffet type restaurant.
200 chefs.
200 staff. Yeah, 200,
200
about 200
chefs.
chefs. Yeah, about 200 chefs in
And then 200 wait staff, I think, was a
yeah,
separate thing as
and that
well.
was just in that one restaurant, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So so we've now been able to stick our heads in and either eat or have a sticky beak at all four of the main dining rooms now. So Silk, American Icon, Chic, and I now forget the last one.
Oh my
Grand,
gosh.
um, Grand,
That one.
whatever. There's a photo on your screen right now of that. But yeah, really, really fascinating. So all the logistics there, the logistics that also then go into turning around, doing all the laundry. They're provisioning obviously with spares, but on top of that, they kind of work on a cycle of three sets of linen per room. So there's one in the room that's in here for your cruise.
There's one under the bed, I've noticed.
There's so there's the provisioned one, which is in your room, the one waiting to be cleaned, and the one waiting to be sent back up to the room staff. So quite fascinating there how they just scale everything very precisely, and that you get to learn all that when you're on this ship's all access tour that they do. So cost wise, that's something that people want to know, I'm sure, Deb.
Yeah, so we booked it before. Again, we keep talking about, booking as much as you can before because we paid in Australian dollars. We paid 200-ish, like very low 200s each to go on it. So we took Noah as well. So any of you that got kids, there was actually about 4 or 5 kids on ours. Probably the youngest would have been about 8. But all of them were absolutely fascinated. They all had a great time, asked lots of questions. Well, Noah asked lots of questions, as Noah does. So no, look, for all ages, but guarantee, jump on before you get on board. Book it because I think that they sell out pretty quickly as well.
Yep.
And we just picked the day that we were at sea, so we thought it was obviously a bit quieter day.
Yep.
But yeah, 100%. If you need to ask any more questions, please, jump on and ask us anything.
Ask us a comment. But yeah, the tickets, doing that as well, because we had a couple of things booked in advance, one of them being this, the tickets for this were in an envelope with our indemnity waiver forms at the very beginning. So we were really ready to go from day one. So that was awesome. So one of the great things with booking in advance, like we said, was the fact that we did, like we did with a number of activities, we booked in advance. The tickets for this were in our room with the indemnity form. So when we were able to go down this morning and start the tour, we had all our paperwork covered. It was already done. That made it really convenient and easy to do. So again, another advantage of booking in advance. Look, we're not saying you have to go out and do these things. We planned this one for today, being a sea day, as Deb mentioned, just because it was something that we could do on the way home while we've got these 2 days at sea, just to break the day up a little bit. Not that we've really needed to for Noah. He's been spending so much time in Seaplex. It's a great opportunity, great for kids to be up there, particularly if they're that little bit older. But a magnificent ship, a magnificent tour. Highly recommend if you get a chance. If you've never been cruising or you're curious just about the logistics, the mechanics, all this sort of thing, there's something for you. If you're a chef, you can ask the chef questions. Wait staff, hospitality. If you're interested in that space, ask them questions. If you're an engineer or mechanic, you've got the engineers and mechanics that in the engine control room that you can ask questions to. So yeah, definitely jump on, give consideration to doing the all access ship tour on Quantum of the Seas.
Excellent. Thanks for listening to us, guys. And as we said, if you need to know anything further, just drop a comment in here. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our next video.